Now you remember old Greece, the country a few years ago, couldn't pay any of its bills. We need a loan. Not they didn't come out and say we need a loan. The IMF said we're giving you a loan along with the EU Central Bank. We're going to do this together. We're going to give you some loans, but in order to get this loan, you're going to have to fire tens of thousands of people out of the government, which means services for everyone else are going to suck, but you're still paying your taxes and your bills in order to pay this back. So they did. Still couldn't pay it back. We'll give you some more money so you can keep making the payments you owe other creditors, in other words, the other bankers that are owed money by Greece. And you're going to have to fire some more people, more austerity measures for everyone else, and then you'll get the second payment of this loan to you, because we're not going to give it to you all at once. And it just seems to keep stringing them along, meanwhile getting more in debt. And now Greece, as I mentioned the other day, I've mentioned this, there's a whole bunch of islands. I mean pristine, beautiful islands. This is like the place to be for tourism and whatnot as far as Greece is concerned. And they've decided, because there's a little entity within Greece that decides what we're going to sell off of former Greece assets to whoever wants to buy them so that we can pay these loans back. These loans the people said we don't want, we don't need it, just default on it, right? We have the right to file bankruptcy as a country. Nope, you're going to take this loan, and we've got people in positions of your Greece government that will do what we say, and they will take that loan, and they will make sure we get it paid back. And if they can't pay it back, they will start auctioning off assets, which is exactly what we wanted all along, known as privatization. That just took place the other day, and I talked about it. Okay? So, now that that's out in the open, EU warns Greece is, quote, a cause of serious concern as top tax collector person resigns. Top tax collector resigns. That's kind of, not kind of like the IRS guy resigning because there's some issue he doesn't want to talk about. Just time to retire. So let's go with this. Harris Theocharis, the Troika supported General Secretary, in other words, the bankers, the lenders, the IMF, supported this guy, absolutely. General Secretary of Greece's Public Revenues was forced to resign following press leaks about, quote, government discontent at his handling of tax issues, most notably the retroactive taxation of gains, was it like capital gains, on Greek government bonds. As Keep Talking Greece notes, Theocharis was a hardliner, a devoted supporter of the loan agreements and their implementation, and kept loading the Greek taxpayers with new burdens and exorbitant fines. However, the resignation of this man, top tax collector of the country, quote, is a cause of serious concern, according to EU spokespersons. Why? Because if he was our guy and he was forcing this crap on the people, sell off these little assets, more taxation for you, more hit you with that fine, and the people are being squeezed to death, and our best guy, who we made sure was in that position of power, is resigning. Oh my God, who are we going to fill that? How are we going to get that spot filled? If the people vote and they vote someone else in, oh my God, is he going to be on the same ball page as same page as the rest of us? Is he going to force them to pay these loans back? He may say no and just go file help the country file bankruptcy protection. Just go. I mean, you don't need really protection as a country like you do as a person in the United States that owns a business. Oh, I'm filing chapter 7 or 11 or 12 or whatever. No, you just pretty much say, we don't have the money, you're not getting it. Have a nice day, guys. See you later. But not that guy. That's our guy. That's like the little Timothy Geithner. Hey, Timothy, he's our guy. He'll always make these people suffer and pay back, the loans that they don't need. Now, of course, we didn't have that in our own country because we have our own Federal Reserve central bank, privately owned. That creates money out of thin air. It just kept creating money and money and money. So when we didn't have a lot of buyers of the bonds that the Treasury has to create to cover those new monies created, the Federal Reserve itself became the buyer and just bought them back. So my question actually would be, why doesn't the Federal Reserve buy them all? And why haven't they been doing that from day one if it doesn't really matter? They just own it. And not only that, at that point, why would we even attach interest to every dollar that's printed? Why wouldn't you just print the money with no interest attached? You could pay for all bills for the government, federal government, state government, local government. There would be no need for any tax whatsoever on the population ever again. Because taxes that's revenue collection, so that governments, whether state, local, whatever, can operate. And then when that money, your property prices went down, that means that the government's not collecting more taxes like they used to. They're collecting less, but the government's already been built up to this level, providing this level of service, and we've got all this equipment and this and that. We need that. We can't not get that same revenue. You can't tell us you're not getting it. We are living up here now. Services are up here now. We have to continue that. So what do? We'll have to tax people more. Those who are paying, those who are still in the workforce, those who still have a house, you're going to get taxed more. All of that would go away if we did not have to borrow money into existence. And I'll go here, not even gold and silver. If we just printed money with no borrowing, no interest attached. And all government agents get paid from this source, right? You don't have to have tax collection ever again. All these fines and fees and fishing license, that's all tax collection. That's all a fee to feed the government beast system. And I mean beast system as in financially speaking in this instance. But it would all go away. No more taxes, no more income tax, especially income tax, by the way. How many people would love to see income tax completely go away? And still say, look, I'll still pay the fishing license. I'll still pay the driver's license. I'll still pay the property taxes if my income tax went away. Well, I've got news for you. If this type of plan was implemented, all of it would go away. You don't have to barter and trade. Just get rid of income tax, but keep the other ones. No, all of it would go away because the government prints the money it needs to run itself. Plain and simple. If you ever seen Bill Still, I think's his name, the Money Masters documentary, and then afterwards he did like a secondary version of it called The Secret of Oz that fixed maybe a couple little issues in the first one, but the first one was great anyways. And it explains this. That's where I got this from. So it says the rumors about the removal of Mr. Theocaris was sparked by an article in Daily Catherine, according to which the Prime Minister's office was discontent about his handling of tax issues, especially during the time before the EU elections. The General Secretary had apparently issued a circular for the retrospective taxation of foreign investors who had bought Greek bonds, which resulted in climbing of the spread, so the government arguments. In a statement on Thursday, Stornaris praised Theocaris' effort to support the tax reforms and contribution to the objectives of the government and added, quote, most important, he did all this by showing consistent results, consistently exceeding all set targets, something that was reflecting in the positive budget results. Well, of course, he still has a job, and the rest of you have a job in government, at least these guys. But everyone that they had to cut out of government jobs to meet the criteria of getting these loans from the IMF and the ECB and whatnot, what about them? They don't have a job at all. So you think, I'm doing a good job, I'm collecting of course. You're trying to squeeze blood from a turnip. So, it says, he was also supposed to receive a bonus according to his target achievements, although this was officially dismissed recently, and his monthly salary was given as €4,650 gross. Despite his over-the-average monthly wage, Theocaris was bold enough to claim in front of angry property owners that he too could not pay the emergency property taxes. Quote, during his appearance at the Congress of the Association of Property Owners, a number of people started to shout in protest about the many different taxes imposed at properties. "I have no money to pay my property taxes," shouted someone from the audience. An obviously stunned General Secretary claimed, "Me neither." Wow, General Secretary said that. So this man was appointed to the office of General Secretary of Public Revenues in January 2013, and for a period of 5 years, appointed to office of General Secretary of Public Revenues in January 2013, which doesn't make sense, and for a period of 5 years, apparently in order to be able to operate without the influence of this or that Greek government that has an average survival time of 2 to 3 years. He had to resign as if he was not implementing the Stornaras Greek government economic policies, as if he did not contribute to the famous primary surplus. But now it is time for the center-right populism of Nea Demokratia and PASOK to rise ahead of possible early elections. According to Greek media, Greece's lenders, the Troika, did not agree with the removal of this man, whom they considered as successful. Oh, I bet they did. Revenue administration plays key role in the reform program, and this development is a cause of serious concern, EU spokesman said in an emailed statement, commenting on resignation of Greek revenue, blah, blah, blah. Chief today says, "We'll continue to closely monitor the Greek government's commitment to a more autonomous revenue administration, as well as commitments to establish rigorous, transparent, and merit-based processes for the appointment of senior managers in the Greek public sector." In other words, we need another guy like him to come in here and just handle business. So what do? Like I said, the last people who are willing to pay, they squeeze them to death. You know what happened here in America? 2005, 2006, right? Mortgage blowout, hit the top, collapsed. Well, a lot of the HOA fees, someone like you bought a condo or you happen to be, I don't want to use the word dumb enough because I don't want to offend anybody, but you didn't know at the time, but it was still a dumb decision ultimately, to go into buy a place where you had some kind of HOA fee or some other fee. And that may be, I'm elderly, I'm living in a elderly person's trailer park, retirement community, 55 or older, and you go on Craigslist, for example, and you see these 2-bedroom, 2-bath trailer, whatever square foot, $6,000, $8,000 bucks. $8,000 for what? Good, perfect. It's in one of these 55 or older communities. It's already there. It's got the blocks under it. You're not really moving it. It costs you a lot to move it, but for the most part, you're not moving it. Why is it $8,000? Because the person who was living there moved back home with their kids because of the exorbitant fees. Not HOA fees, because they don't call it that in a trailer park, but it's another fee. And it's just simply, we're allowing you to live on our big piece of property. We're supplying you with electric hookup and water hookup. And you may only get like free water out of the deal. And everything else you got to pay for. So you're essentially paying for a lot space. You had to buy the trailer, manufactured home, and set it there. But it was okay back then, because it was only, when you first moved in, it was only $150 a month. And then years and years and years and years went by. And all these problems started happening all over the place. And you just start noticing that $150 turns to $200 a month, $250 a month, $300 a month, $400 a month. It's now over $500 a month in some of these places. So could you imagine if you had a trailer that you had to buy? I'm buying a new manufactured home. Again, it's a small one. It may only be $25,000 for a nice one, new one. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, just a small one. You bring it over there, it's $25,000. Hopefully you had the $25,000 in your pocket, in your bank account to do that. Most people don't. So they finance it. So you're financing $25,000, and then you also have $500 a month lot fee, which gives you almost nothing. And if you say, no, I won't agree to it, well, that's all right. You're annually re-signing the lease here for the lot space. You can go ahead and leave if you want. Okay, so they go back home, live with their kids. Now their kids are helping them pay the $500 a month lot rent. and desperately trying to sell this damn manufactured home as fast as possible because we're tired of paying $500 a month. Sell it for a fire sale. And they have to sell it for $7,000, $8,000. It's worth every penny of it because whoever decides to buy that is probably not dumb enough to say, I'm just going to go ahead and stay with that place and pay the $500 a month lot rent. No, I'm going to take it out to my so-and-so property or whatever and have it set there. So yeah, I'm going to spend a few $1,000s transporting it out of here and over to the new place. But I own the new place, or my family owns the new place. All I got to do is get a hookup for electric and septic. Done. No $500 a month fee, etc. Now the condo thing. My friend lived in a condo and told me how during that top peak, when prices got out of control in America, 2005, 2006, how things just started going down and down and down, and that little HOA or the condo HOA fee kept going up and up and up and up. Well, we got to pay for a security company, we got to pay for the pool company, keep the yard and everywhere around here property manicured properly. And he said to me that they're listing all these things and kind of reminding us as they send us saying the rates are going up, that this is what they cover, but they don't have anyone doing security. They say it's in there, and that's their responsibility, but they're actually not paying anyone. There's no one here that does security. So I said, well, you could fight them on that. He ultimately walked from the house, did a short sale, and the fees that they were trying to get back from him, all these HOA fees for the last 2 years or whatever it was that he was doing this, compounded it, thousands of dollars. In his case, it wasn't $500 a month, but it started out at something like $100 a month and then turned into like $250 or $300 a month very quickly. So that, late fees, this, that. And anyways, it got washed out. Done. He's out of it. Have a nice day. So what does that mean? People that are still paying, what I call the suckers, will be the last ones to figure this out. And they will suck you dry as the ship goes down. They're sucking the people of Greece dry. They're actually sucking all of us dry just by the price of gas. As I've mentioned many times, thanks to Lindsey Williams, we have hundreds of years of oil that's already been tapped and is sitting on standby near Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. The USS Liberty oil rig has been sitting there for about 2 years now, on standby, waiting for the global collapse to take place by these same bankers and oil cartels that are orchestrating all these events so that they can have the rest of the world default. We're going to default on our debt to them. They're going to be pissed off. We're not sending you oil anymore because you defaulted on this. All these bonds we're holding here are now worthless. And then all of a sudden, America, wow, we found some oil here recently. No, we actually found it in like 1971 or 72. It's been there the whole time. The largest oil rig ever built is sitting over there right on top of it right now on standby, waiting for the right moment. Why do we allow Wall Street to set the price of a barrel of gasoline every single day, barrel of oil every day, which therefore sets the price of gas at the pump? There's no supply and demand problems. We have the gas usage from the year 2000 till now is actually going down. Gas usage in America. Why did the price go up? Why would the price rise if gas usage is going down? Oh, that's right. The HOA problem. Those who are still paying, those who are still driving, who are still using our gas, we just raise the rates on everybody. But they can't actually raise rates on it. They just say, well, it's the market. The market sets the price. It's a free market. When in reality, Wall Street, the club, the boys, sets the price through their paper contracts, which are heavily leveraged. So you only need a little bit of paper with a massive amount of leverage to move the price of oil up or down any way they wish, just like they do it with gold and silver and any other commodity on the face of the earth. So the suckers, all of us, are still having to pay that exorbitant fee through gas. On top of the exorbitant fees for housing, HOA fee, lot rent fee, any fee you can think of. Oh, driver's license used to be $35 to a renew. Nope, it's $70 now. Why is it $70? Because property taxes went down. Revenue, we can't hear no in any state. State of Florida, Hillsborough County, doesn't matter. There's no, we have to get that money and revenue back. So we'll just raise their driver's license fees and the renewal fees and the title fees and the transfer fees and all this crap. And can you say, well, screw that, you guys charge too much, I'm going somewhere else? Oh, McDonald's or Burger King, man, you got 2 for $4. They got dollar menu over at McDonald's. I don't need this here, I'll go over there. Who are you going to go to? Who are you going to go to? To the IRS? Yeah, you guys are taking too much out of my check. I'm going to go somewhere else. There is nowhere else. You can tell the government, I'm not getting a driver's license. I'm not gonna, that fee's absorbent. I'm not going to pay it. Okay, now you're going to be driving without a license, and you're going to get arrested ultimately, etc. And the absurd thing is, if you were to do that and stand your ground, it would actually make more sense financially if the government just left you alone. But they won't. They will go after you. They will prosecute you. They will take you to court. They will put you in jail. Ultimately, they will. All for $70, whatever it ends up being, a renewal fee for your license. And do you have any idea what it cost the government and taxpayers to do that process to you, to take you to the courts multiple times, pay this fine, you still didn't pay the fine, now you're going to jail, now we're housing him, now we're feeding him, 10 days in jail. Do you have any idea what that would cost? And yet they'll do it anyways. Why? Because they can't say we're lax. We're just going to let it ride. They have to show you. They have to make an example out of everybody so that any of you other suckers, taxpayers, consumers, try this. This is what happens to you. But wait a minute. Doesn't it cost you way more money than the fee you're trying? Yeah. But we don't want people catching on, because then if one person does it, everyone else will do it, and then it'll be a major problem. Okay. Seems like it's happening anyways, not because people are forcefully saying I've had enough. They physically can't make these dollars appear that they need to pay these bills and these fees. So what do? Any normal, intelligent person determines which of these bills are the most important that I'm going to pay, and I pay it. Which of these is not. Unfortunately, my kids have to eat. I actually need car insurance more than I need the driver's license fee or whatever fee. I'm going to have to choose that right now. And I'll catch up in another month. I'll be a little bit late, but I'll catch up. And then, darn it, something else came up. Man, food just went up in price. Damn. My food stamps just got cut down a little bit more. Damn. Now I can't afford that license. I'll catch back up. Oh, I just got my hours cut at work. Oh, my God. Right? And all these things just keep happening and happening and happening. And you just never can seem to get your head above water. So if someone has that knowledge, all these things I just spoke to you about, and there's one thing you could do to get your head above water and stay above water, and recognizing who the people at fault are, these bankers and these oil cartels, especially the bankers, what they've done to our housing, what they've done to all of us. Because that oil price that you pay at the pump, that's the bankers setting the price every day on Wall Street. That's who's doing it. It could be $1 to $1.50, but no, they're charging you $3. So everything now, from now on, goes up in price. Food goes up. The cost to deliver those food items goes up. Cost of vehicles, everything has to go up. Everything that you look at, lights, computer, some things do go down. Matter of fact, all this excess electronics that we don't need. But the things that you do need continually rise for some reason. And it's all related to the price of gasoline. So these bankers are forcing you little taxation without representation to the 10th power. But you don't know it because most people don't know it because they don't know what happened in the early 1970s. They don't know we have this oil. They don't know that the price of oil is even set on Wall Street. For God's sakes, Donald Trump said, I'll tell OPEC what I'll pay for a gallon of gas. Donald Trump, you moron. You don't know that your pals on Wall Street set the price of oil every day? If I was president, I'd tell OPEC. You're not going to tell OPEC anything because OPEC doesn't set the price. The gas companies, they don't set the price. The price is set on Wall Street every day through pieces of paper that don't even amount to anything. There's no real thing even standing behind it that represents it. They claim there's a barrel of oil in some warehouse somewhere, and you're buying a barrel of oil with this futures contract. It doesn't even exist. So if you have this knowledge and you say, I'm struggling, but I own a house, and I can see where this might be going in the future, that I'm going to lose this house, ultimately, because I'm not going to be able to afford these things, a wise man would stop making the payment on the house and say, screw you, bankers, and then pocket that money every month in preparation for this, because you do have a right to sustain your livelihood, to feed your kids, to put food on the table, etc. And if that massive, mostly interest house payment that you make every month. Absurd amount of interest in these house payments that, you look, oh, $1,000 a month go to my house payment. Oh, how much of that is interest? Oh, about $750. You're paying $1,000 a month and $750 is interest. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. How about no? Go to court, fight it in court, drag it out. Oh, you lost in trial? File an appeal. 2 more years. File another appeal. 2 more years. And then you accumulate this money to save yourself from what these bankers are doing. That way you're not the last one to stand like the rest of these people. I'll just wait it out. I bet things will get better. Let me pray on it. I bet things will get better tomorrow morning. No, it's not. Because these bankers are in control. They're causing us all these problems. So you have a right to defend yourself, so to speak. And if their system is strangling you to death financially, take off the tentacles from their vampire squidness via something, credit card, mortgage, whatever it is, and save yourself. Because can you imagine living in a house? You've been there 15 years. You've never missed a payment. You still got 15 years left to pay that mortgage. And somehow you're either underwater, you owe more than the house is worth still, because you took out an equity line or whatever back in the day, or you're right at where the market value is. Like, I've been paying for 15 years. Let me get this straight. I've been paying for 15 years, every month, interest, out the whole thing, the loan payment. And I've gained nothing. This is nothing. I've just sat. It's gone nowhere. My house is worth what the market says today, and that's what I owe on it. I paid payments for 15 years. How much money is 15 years of monthly payments? Some of you out there probably have $2,000, $3,000 a month house payments. Some of you have $1,000, $1,500 a month. $1,000 a month house payment, 12 months in a year, $12,000. And then the point of this is, what happens when rainy day came, the economy, darn economy, lost my job, lost the house. Again, you've been living there for 15 years, spent all that money, none of which you get back. The bank has already actually got the house paid off by 15 years. As far as their money, it's been returned. But the next 15 years is pure profit for them. And since that's the agreement, for 30 years, they get the house back. And they get to sell it for the asking price of today. But again, they've already been paid off. Remember that? By 15 years, the bank's been paid back. So now they've got your house. You've paid them for 15 years. The money came back that they lent you, and then some. And now they've got a house that they could sell right now on the market and be the one that gives the loan out to the next sucker who buys the house. So they get your house, sell it for the market price today, give them a 30-year loan, start making payments, cost them nothing. It's like the bank had a free house to begin with now. And they get to start the process all over. And maybe this guy will last 30 years. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll lose his job. Maybe he'll pay for 10 years. We'll get the house back. We'll sell it again, do the same thing again. Until some sucker is able to continually pay this thing for 30 years and successfully pay us off. And people look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them I quit paying my mortgage when I realized what the banks did to me personally and the rest of you. I just took notice and took action. Bank of America, you can go screw yourself. Have a nice day.